Hello, my name is Matthias. I'm product manager at Tomey, and today I'd like to introduce to you the TOP-1000 non-contact tonometer with pachymetry. So let's get started. So what it's all about. So in this presentation, I will guide you through all the features, benefits of the new TOP-1000. So let's start with the product features. What is it? The TOP-1000 is a tonometer, non-contact tonometer with pachymetry, and it features many good things. So for instance, the auto tracking feature, auto measurement, it has a soft air puff, it has pachymetry for IOP correction, an excellent measurement repeatability, a friendly user interface, and of course, in patient database. So I will tell you more about all these features in the next slides. So let's start with the operation and control. So the operation of the system is performed through a really large 10.1 inch tablet PC. So it's a large screen. As maybe you are familiar with the TFC-1000 fundus camera, it's sort of the same monitor and control and user interface. So of course, since it is a tablet PC, you can connect third-party keyboard and mouse, wireless ones for sure, by the USB port. So this makes it really good to have control over the system without touching it. So you have a sort of distance to the system and to the patient, especially nowadays with this pandemic. So the user interface itself is very intuitive and structured. There are a lot of icons, so it's not a big deal. So whether you are Spanish speaking, Portuguese or whatever, there's no big deal to get familiar with the user interface. And it's on a Windows 10 platform based, but this is only in the background of the system. So here you see the user interface. So it's really well sorted. On the left side, this is the measurement screen. You have the control for the chin rest, up and down movement, which is a motorized chin rest. You can use the adjustment of the head to make it forward or backward. Erase the measurement print. On this right side of the screen, you see all the control for starting the measurement, about the measurement time, how many air puffs you want to apply, and other settings. So really easy structured. And down below, you see there are three icons. This is the measurement screen. This is the results screen. And here you have the settings. On the top right corner, you have the patient. And on the left side, this is the operator of the system. And of course, here the result of the measurement at a glance, right after measurement. So this is a big deal, the next agenda point. So the system features 3D auto tracking and auto measurement, so which makes it really, really easy to use and to capture measurements. So what you have to do is, of course, place your patient in front of the device, adjust the level of the eyes to the marking on the chin rest, by using the buttons on the touch screen. Here you see them. And the next step, you simply press on the center of the pupil, as you are used to it with our other products of Tomey. And the next step, click on start. And so the measurement will start. The system will track the eye, move forward, and apply the measurements. So when I say apply the measurements, it will do an IOP measurement, of course. So it's based, you see, on a non-contact tonometer with air puff. And so the system will apply an air puff initially, and a very soft air puff. And if it determines that the amount of air is too low to capture the IOP, it will do in the next following air puffs, it will increase the power of air. Anyhow, it's a kind of very gentle and air puff. So like other systems, it has always the drawback that you can hear the air puff, and maybe the patients will be a little bit afraid because it's very close to the eye and you hear the sound. But anyhow, it's reasonable and really, let's say, gentle. There are two modes. It's a soft air puff mode and a normal mode with some advantages, disadvantages. I will tell you in the next slide. So the range is, as with all the NCTs, it's from 1 to 16 mmHg measurement range. So I already told there are two modes, the soft mode and the normal mode. So in the soft mode, the intensity of air puff initially is very gentle, so very low. Resulting that for, let's say, an eye with low IOPs, it's all right. But if the system will recognize that the patient has a kind of high IOP, anyhow, the intensity of air puff will increase. And this is all right if you always, what I recommend to do, always take the 3 measurements each eye. So if you do only 1 measurement each eye and you have the soft mode, it may result that you have to do the measurement again with the normal mode, because just the strength of the air puff may be too low. So I would recommend to take the normal mode as usual, and the normal mode, the air puff is really gentle as well. And it will be more reliable, especially if you only make 1 measurement because you have a patient that is so much afraid. So, but you have to choice anyhow. So now it's really, this is one of the big advantages of the system, that it does not only measure the IOP itself alone, but also the pachymetry. So the pachymetry, or the central corneal thickness, is measured by, you see it here, the Scheimpflug camera, by the technology of a Scheimpflug camera. So it captures the center of the cornea, and it measures, from this image, it measures the thickness of the cornea. And this is an important step, because then you can recognize in the beginning, okay, it's a very thin cornea, for instance, or it's a very thick cornea, and then already you start thinking, wow, it's probably thin, could be a risk patient for glaucoma, for instance. Or if it's very thick, on the other hand, it may lead to other ideas like edema or something, but this is worst cases. But anyhow, the central corneal thickness is intentionally used to correct the IOP value. So correcting the IOP value means that, assuming that you have a kind of normal cornea, let's say 550 microns, then you can transfer the IOP reading and say, okay, it's maybe 18 millimeter Hg. It will be 18 millimeter Hg. But what if you have, for instance, a very thin cornea? Like here in this example, the CCT is 500 microns. This is less than the average. So, and you measure only the IOP, it would be 18 mmHg. So it will result in a too low reading. But if you correct it, so the corrected IOP will be 21, for instance. So it means it's already borderline IOP. On the other hand, if you have a thick cornea, the pure IOP measurement without the CCT would tell you, oh, it's maybe 22 mmHg, which is considered to be kind of high. But if you consider the corneal thickness of 612, then the resulting or corrected IOP would be 17.3. So there you see, considering the thickness of the cornea, so to say, the elasticity and the amount of air that is needed to applanate the cornea, it really influences the result of the IOP. And this is the big advantage. Of course, to correct the IOP, there are different formula available. So in the default setting, the device has a formula after ELAS inside, which is the correcting the central corneal thickness minus 545 multiplied by 0.07. So that means that if you have 10 microns off of the 545, it will result in 0.7 mmHg IOP. Of course, the formula which is inserted can be changed by the user, by the operator, according to individual needs. Or, for instances, there are other formulas after Stottmeister or Kohlhaas, for instance. And if you want to input the Kohlhaas formula, I made an example. You consider the mean central corneal thickness of 550, type it in, and this is the correction value per 10 microns, which is, in this case, you type in, so this 0.4, and in the formula you would type in 0.04, like here in the example. So this is up to the user. So let's come to the data handling. So what we did, we already measured the IOP, we took the pachymetry measurement. In the usual way, you would just simply print out or export the data. But anyhow, with a system, it has a database inside. And this is a really big benefit, having a database. So you can, on the one hand, put in an unlimited number of operators, so users of the system. Unlimited, you maybe don't need unlimited, but of course, maybe you have 3 or 4 different users. So you can put them in, adjust them, and you can, this is a big advantage, you can put an unlimited number of patients into the system. This feature, of course, it's limited to a patient ID. So I do not recommend to use names or name or birthday. This is, of course, not really usable. But if you are using with an EMR system, you should have a patient ID, and you put the individual patient ID into the system. And so you can store and record all the measurements for this particular patient. So once you've done the measurement, of course, you can, let's say, have a printout with a thermal line printer with AutoCAD. You can choose if it will be printed automatically or not. And of course, you can export the data to a computer or EMR system through an RS-232 cable. Use cables with adapter to USB, and you can also export all the data. So with a patient database inside the system, it gives you the big possibility and opportunity to have all these measurements time by time, having them in a graph displayed. So here you see the graph of the patient. It's the patient TOP-1000 in this case. For the right eye, we have, let's say 4 different exams. And so here, if you click on a certain line, you will see the date when the measurement was performed. And now in the history of the patient, you see how the IOP is progressing. And this is really more important, in my opinion, than only having one measurement at a time. It tells you more or less nothing. So if I take my IOP and it's 10, and next week it's 12, and the other week it's 11, you see it's let's say a kind of same level of IOP. And this is what it's about, to see the progression of the IOP, if it's more or less stable or if it's increasing or decreasing. And this is, in my opinion, a very great feature of the TOP-1000. In summary, yeah, so the combination of having a soft air puff, 3D auto tracking, the good repeatability of the measurement, the pachymetry measurement, so for the corrected IOP, this really easy, friendly user interface, and the database really guarantees you excellent IOP measurements in a really great, small, easy to handle package. So that's it from my side for the introduction of the TOP-1000. If you like, you may take a look at our YouTube channel, where we have plenty of information about this product or other products. And yeah, I'm happy to see you soon again. Bye-bye. Ciao.